there seems to be a huge difference between what people saw and thought ringside and what people watching at home.
Because I messaged you.
But then I go online and everyone's saying robbery. Now, one thing it's not.
Nah, it's not a robbery.
Is a robbery.
I believe the competitor should come and take that person's belt.
I don't like that, you know. Buatsi, Azeez.
Was it a real injury?
This is what I'm saying. Look what you're doing. You're going to get fired.
I think that Azeez going to see me and say, well, do you want to fight me?
Exactly. If I'm Dan, no, sorry, not if I'm Dan. Because I am Dan. If I... They're both going to punch you out when they see you. You're such a troll.
Dan Azeez, if I see you, man, you don't want smoke.
Mouthpiece, the home of unfiltered boxing. Welcome back to Mouthpiece. I am Savage Dan.
I'm Miles Fearon.
The alleged cousin of Spencer Fearon. I'm going to do it every episode.
We're family, man. We're family.
We've had a big weekend of boxing.
Great weekend.
A very good card. And it was a difficult week in terms of... It's the 20th of January. That's it's the brokest week of the year. It has to be the brokest week of the year, right? Everyone got paid before Christmas. And this is the week that is probably the hardest sell. But yet there were, I think it was over 6,500
it was
out in Liverpool.
Packed. It was packed. Did well.
Very, very good turnout for Mikaela Mayer against Natasha Jonas. Before we get into that, let's talk about a couple of the other fighters.
Yeah, the undercard.
Jack Massey returned with a very, very good stoppage over a dangerous opponent. Massey might be one of the most underrated cruiserweights in
the division.
I was going to say in England, but maybe even in the world, you know, because he's only got 2 losses.
It was against Joseph Parker and...
Richard Riakporhe. Okay. And both of those were competitive fights.
Yeah.
Parker shouldn't really have even been up at heavyweight fighting him. And he gave him a lot of trouble. If I remember rightly, I think he even wobbled him quite early. Put it this way, he gave Joseph Parker more trouble than Deontay Wilder. So that loss has aged very, very well, if you ask me.
So it doesn't look too bad now on his record.
With Joe Gallagher now, stuck to a game plan, we'll probably see the best of Jack Massey. He's only 30 years old.
Yeah, it's got a lot in the tank.
I think
it was a good knockout though. He set up well. He set up the shot ramp.
And that's it. That's it.
Double
and
jab.
he was patient with it.
And then just executed it.
Kind of perfect. But he didn't get any rounds.
Yeah.
I suppose if you've been out of the ring for a year, you probably want some rounds. Anyway, look, don't get paid for overtime.
Like you said, you don't get paid for overtime. And if you could get him out of there early, get him out there.
Ste Clark, debutant.
Good fight. It was a nice fight.
I'm not sure about good fight. He's a good fighter.
He's a good fighter.
And he's a very popular boy.
Yeah.
What do you think of the stoppage?
I think it was a bit dubious, man. I don't.
Yeah, it's not Steve's fault. That guy just kept turning around.
Yeah, I think because Steve he was jabbing him, and it's like he didn't even really punch him in the back of the head.
No,
it wasn't a rapid punch.
He almost waited for him to kind of turn.
Yeah.
Threw a left hook in, but do you know what? It's one of you've got to protect yourself at all times.
A lot of people are lying saying that it was a bit premature, the stoppage though, the ref.
It's premature, but it wasn't because I don't think the ref stopped it because he was hurt.
Nah, he wasn't hurt.
It wasn't because of that. It was because, mate, like you're turning around, your body language is all completely wrong. You're meant to be in a fight. You're supposed to. You're prohibited from turning around. You're not allowed to turn around.
Yes,
and he did it a couple of times. For me, he didn't deserve to be in there. Good stoppage for him. Karis Artin still one more rung of the ladder left. She's probably ready for world titles now. It's weird because these are fighters that are only turning over and turning pro 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So to be knocking on a door for world titles just shows how good she is. Zach Chell.
Oh, good fight, man. I like the build up to that.
Do you know what?
The build up was good. The build up was good, man.
The fight got a little bit of stick online for being a
boring fight.
Not boring, but quite messy.
It was. There was both in the pocket. There was both going shot for shot. There was both, but
I think Zach.
I think Zach had a better game plan.
Yeah, I think it was quite similar to the first fight.
Now that Zach Chelly's beat him, do you think we could see a trilogy here? Because they drew the first fight. He's obviously taken the belts off him.
For me, I like Cullen, and I think Cullen's top fighter, and I think he got a ridiculously good knockout against Heffron. But for me, Zach Chelly won the first fight. and I think it was a similar-ish kind of fight. There won't be any appetite for that fight, for a trilogy. It's not Marquez versus Pacquiao.
Yeah.
It wasn't all action. Something like this.
It's not like they're unifying.
What there may be an appetite for is, look, it was ironic that Zach Chelly lost to Mark Jeffers and then gets a British title shot before Jeffers.
Yeah.
Jeffers, obviously.
So do you think Jeffers is watching that at home now, thinking, I just beat this guy? And I beat him. At
home? What are you talking about? It was ringside. He fought before. So like he's like not watching that at home. He's probably thinking, all right, I've just beaten the lad who has now got the British and Commonwealth title. So I guess it's time for Mark Jeffers potentially and Zach Chelly to run it back. They now both have something that each other want. Zach Chelly will want revenge.
Jeffers wants the belt. He wants the belts.
And he wants the belts. Callum Simpson will have something to say about it because he's waiting in the wings for a British title shot. But that's a fight I'd happily see again. I think Jeffers was very good for the victory and he took that fight on 2 weeks' notice. So it'll be interesting to see what that fight looks like with a full camp.
Yeah.
I'll leave that one to Ben. I'm not getting involved. That seems like a situation where you're gonna have a lot of people saying, right, it's I deserve this fight.
Yeah, definitely if he beat him before and he was like you said he was in the arena.
Callum Simpson, you can't just sit waiting around. Good luck, Ben. Good luck with that one.
Maybe the winner between Callum Simpson and Jeffers.
No, but but you were not gonna make Jeffers.
I know. Yeah. But something's got to happen.
No point. Don't make him the matchmaker.
Listen,
all of a sudden we'll just be going around.
You want to fight for the title? You two got to fight, man. That's it.
Right. Let's get to the top of the bill. I feel like it's caused a little bit of controversy. Now, I was obviously ringside for that fight.
Yes, I had the chance to go ringside,
but he didn't.
I wanted to watch it from home.
He didn't go. He wanted to watch it from home.
Yeah, I like the commentary.
I'd like to say that there is. Definitely now. This is probably the first time I've experienced this. There seems to be a huge difference between what people saw and thought ringside and what people watching at home.
Because I messaged you.
Now, I've spoken to everyone who watched that at home.
Yeah.
Believes Mikaela Mayer won.
It was close.
I personally had it 96-94 Natasha.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I haven't watched it back yet. So I'm not sure if I was watching that through Natasha Jonas goggles. But I certainly knew it was a competitive fight and I was 100%. Trying my hardest to score that objectively. I thought Natasha got off to a good start. 3 rounds. I had her up 3 rounds. And then I had Mikaela coming back too. And then it got a bit messy and all these rounds were super competitive. Yeah. So
I had Mikaela I think she had the fight. I had a 5-6-7. I have Mikaela in the middle of the fight. Mikaela dominated. She came. She grew into the fight. She grew into her weight. Yeah. She was better. She was not saying more dominant, but she was boxing more on the front foot. Jonas was giving her some good counter shots. Yeah. Brilliant counter shots. They was both in the pocket. They was both going for it. I think in the later rounds, like we say, the championship rounds, the rounds that matter, especially when you're fighting for a belt. I think Jonas just showed a bit more, but at the same time, at the same time, I could see if they did go to Mikaela and said, because she was giving it.
I wouldn't have been, I thought I had it right at 96-94, but I wasn't confident. And no one at ringside was entirely confident.
No.
I was sitting next to Natasha's mum, speaking to Liam Smith. I'm saying, how have you got? He said 96-94, but everyone's saying it like this.
Yeah. Either way.
I think.
Either way, 96-94.
And you couldn't really have complained.
What did one of the judges had it at?
97-93 for male. Now that's why.
That's why.
But here's the thing. Here's where I find
about that.
Fighting is interesting and
that's crazy.
Boxing is interesting because you can have a competitive fight which is really close and it can be 120, 108. That's the facts. If somebody edges every round.
I was just about to say, so the judges watching it, okay, they finish strong.
Exactly.
They finish
or whatever
strong.
it is.
They finish strong.
Unfortunately, this is a sport where it's judged based on...
It's subjective to some degree.
On what I feel like, who I'd rather be, who I think got the better of it. And it might come down to one punch, and often it does. And this is one of those fights where it did come down to 1 or 2 punches per round.
I don't think it was 93-97 though, Dan.
I can't argue with any one score. That's from what I saw, I don't like it. But if we're meant to judge, if we're meant to score these fights round by round, then you have to try and take an element out of it. So, for example, I think it's human for people to be like, that was a close round, I'm giving that one to her. And then, but if the next one's close, you give it the other way. I think I think we do that subconsciously.
Yeah.
So but if you're, as a judge, taught to, you score round by round.
Yes.
And you give your scorecard over at the end of each round, and you try and leave the emotion, and it's hard to take out. It's hard to take that out.
Yeah, because two judges, if we're judging a fight, you might you might prefer that. Oh, Natasha, even though she's getting pressed, like I said, in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, but you might like the counter shots,
exactly,
the way she's reacting.
So I feel like I don't think there were any rounds that somebody got beat up. And every round you can make a case for it going one way or the other. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is how scoring works. I had it 96, 94. I haven't watched it back yet. But then I go online and everyone's saying robbery. Now, one thing it's not.
Nah, it's not a robbery.
Is a robbery.
It's not a robbery.
That's the one thing it's not.
And we're not being biased here. We're just being honest.
It
wasn't a robbery.
gave Mikaela not 5 rounds. I was going to say it's not a 12-round fight, is it? I gave her 4 of the 10. So I had it 96, 94. I could easily... There were some of those rounds where I probably gave it to Tasha, where someone else just given it to Mikaela. So it could easily have been a draw. It could easily have been a 1 point victory to Mikaela. But I'm just saying that's a difficult fight. But to start looking at and be like, I'm seeing people say, "Oh, look at Michaela's face in comparison to that's not how it works."
No, it doesn't work like that.
It's headbutts. It's one shot.
Just
can
because
do that.
blemishes.
That's not how it works.
But I could look at this 2 ways though. Dan, I could look at this as Mikaela. How I see it is, if you're the champion and the fight's close, obviously, I believe the competitor should come and take that person's belt.
I don't like that, you know.
I think you should.
No, I get it, and I get what people are saying, but I think a fight is a fight. Once you get in that ring and the first bell goes, those belts go in the air. As far as I'm concerned, that's not your belt anymore. You got to win it back. It's not yours. Okay. You're not wrestling it from me. We're fighting for it again. You know, like when T'Challa had to fight in
Black Panther.
He got
you weren't the king.
He weren't the king. That's it.
Is this okay?
That's it. That's it. I think as soon as the first bell goes,
that goes out the window.
You're no longer the champion. You have to fight to be the champion again.
Yeah, but at the same time, you need to dethrone the champion, though.
Yeah, but
because it can't be close and I'm still the champ.
Do you know what that's like saying, though? I get it, and I know that that's something that's said in boxing, and I just don't like it. Because it's like saying, if you want to beat United at Old Trafford, you have to win by 2 goals.
Even though, okay, it's 1-0.
Do you see what I'm saying? You can't come and nick it. Yeah. If you want to come and beat us here, because we're at Old Trafford.
But then there's another way of looking at it. Like, okay, if, say, Man United, for example, not just quickly, Man United score in the last minute against, I don't know, Burnley.
Yeah.
89th minute, and they win. So, for example, Mayer, people could be looking at her like, well, I didn't expect her to last this long and be this good against Jonas. And even though she went up to 147, she didn't gas out.
No, but that's what I mean.
She looked strong. So people might be giving to her just for that.
I'm not a judge. You're not a judge. Everyone at home is not a judge except for the judges that were watching the fight at home.
Yeah.
Judges should be, and often are supposed to be, the most qualified people to score this fight. They know exactly.
Sometimes.
And we see a lot of controversial decisions. A lot.
Sometimes.
I just don't think this one was controversial. I get the shouts.
It could have gone either way.
I just don't think this one was controversial. I had it the exact same scorecard as one of the judges, and the other judge had it one closer. So he must have given a 10-10 round somewhere, I think. Yeah. The 97-93, I felt like that was right. But again, I can't even bite his head off, because what you see is what you see at that moment in time. If you prefer somebody whose ring generalship you believe was more better in Mikaela Mayer because she was the fighter coming forward, then that might just be what you go for. Whereas if you're the guy that likes the counterboxing, boxing on the back foot, making you miss defensive points, then
but
I'm
not mad.
I'm not mad at anything. I'm just a little bit more mad at the people that will scream robbery.
Nah, it wasn't a robbery. It's too close. And Natasha, she fought a great fight, man. Obviously, Mayer was coming. She came over from America. She wanted to take her belts, like we said. She made a good value effort of it, man.
Honestly,
you gotta give her hats off to her.
Both.
Natasha just showed her, listen.
Like, Mikaela must be sick of it by now. The fact that she's
almost
lost fights that
It's 50.
On a different night, she doesn't lose.
Yeah, facts. 100%. That's twice now.
That's twice.
As soon as that happened, I thought that's twice that's happened to her now.
But it's also happened to Natasha twice.
With Katie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
So.
What happens
next? That was a great fight.
Katie again?
It depends, because now there's going to be a huge appetite for.
That's a big one though.
I saw Josh Taylor on Saturday.
Oh, big job, Josh Taylor.
It looks like the rematch between him and Jack Catterall goes ahead, right?
Oh yeah,
it looks like it's been agreed. That was a controversial.
That was controversial.
And ringside, that felt the same as how everybody had it at home. So I'm watching that
at ringside. What did it feel like then?
It felt like Jack Catterall won.
Yes, and on TV,
it looked exactly the same, right? But I'm saying this one, the Natasha Mikaela one, didn't feel like that. I felt like Natasha won, but at home it looked like Mikaela won.
Yeah.
Is commentary playing a part in this? But then I've heard the commentary was quite biased towards
Mayer.
Towards Natasha.
So
I don't know. All I know is that when there's an appetite for a rematch, I love an immediate rematch.
But I think if there's a rematch this time, I think it needs to be in neutral grounds. I personally think this time.
All right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different things. Yeah. Now, the problem
because
is
it was so close.
When it was a great fight.
Yeah.
Only problem is when you lose a fight in a close fight, you lose, not necessarily you lose negotiating power, but you kind of do. And where else are you going to have this fight? If not Liverpool, where are you going to put it? Yes, you and have it cause real attention and top a bill.
Yeah.
Natasha is. She's Miss Liverpool.
Yeah, she's Miss Liverpool.
So they're going to come out. Unfortunately, Mikaela's not from here. And Mikaela now doesn't have the bargaining chips to be like, all right, we're going back stateside, or we're going.
Because you don't have a belt. You don't have no.
That's it.
You don't have nothing.
Unfortunately, when you're on the other side of a bad decision, you are in even less of a position to call the shots, as we saw with Jack Catterall.
Yeah.
Eventually, you get it if there is an appetite for it. I think.
It might have to
the problem is the problem is Natasha has too many options, and there will be too many offers, and she's gonna have a year of huge offers. She's kind of the money fight now in women's boxing.
She's top dog. She got retained at IBF.
So
I think she goes. I think she should go against Katie.
So you wouldn't if you were Natasha.
Nah. If I don't have
would you give the rematch?
No, I don't have to. You came up to my weight. I'm still the top dog. I've defended my title. Obviously, people said it was 50-50. Yeah. People would love to see another fight. But like I said, if she's the champion, you need to really take
Mikaela definitely warrants a definitely warrants it. Definitely. It's just that when you have so many options on the table, if you're Natasha, you might want to avenge one of your losses. Terry Harper, Katie Taylor. So unfortunately, there are too many opportunities.
But the thing is,
to back her into a corner and be like, you have to take this rematch.
Yeah, for real. And the thing is that Natasha, respectfully, she's not getting any younger, bro. Yeah. So if she does lose this second fight, we might get cheated out of another fight between her and Katie, which I think would be a great spectacle.
Yeah.
For the British fans.
Yeah.
They should do it in Liverpool. They probably do it in Anfield or back in the same stadium where we just was.
Yeah.
It'll be a great fight. I think it could be a legacy. It's a legacy fight.
Anfield's a big shout. Oh, that's massive.
Oh, bro,
that's a big shout.
But Liverpool, like I said to you, bro, they turn up for their own. Yeah. And if which you will do, Boxer will market it right. Get time, people will buy their tickets. And look, like you said, how much people just came out and it's just after Christmas.
Yeah.
So if it's Liverpool and it's marketed right, the last hooray. I'd love to see her versus Katie, man.
Last hurrah. Man said last hooray.
I like it, man. The last hooray.
Let's bring in. All right, cool. What changes in a rematch? Mikaela's always said 3-minute rounds would suit her more. Now, I think a lot of people, based on that fight we've just seen,
you can't say that now.
She said it before, so I'm saying Mikaela she has got the kind of style where she pushes, she presses the action, and sometimes that extra minute in a round, it's a third of a fight.
Yeah, of course.
Grants you. That's where the pressure pays off. So over 3-minute rounds, I actually do believe Mikaela
would be the better fighter.
Would just be better in general. I'm not necessarily talking about against Natasha. Okay. I'm saying 3-minute rounds probably suit her more than they suit maybe anyone in women's boxing. She is a kind of seek and destroy pressure fighter.
Yeah, she gets better with the rounds. Yeah, she did. And and like I said before, the way she carried the weight from 147, carried to 147, I should say, it was impressive. Like she just didn't slow down.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna slow down at one point. Felt okay, cool. Natasha's gonna take her into her waters. No, she just kept going. It was like, okay.
She grinds you down. She does.
And like you said, she was training. She said before this fight, I've been training. I've been doing 3-minute rounds in training. Yeah. So she's ready for.
But so does Tash.
But yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, it would probably benefit Natasha having shorter rounds, especially at 39.
Yeah. I like 2-minute rounds in women's boxing.
So do I. I was gonna say that.
It's like cricket. It's like I don't know if you
T20.
T20. It's quick. We're in and out. 6 overs. We're in. Boom, 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 boom. 2 hours. Everyone goes home. It's chaos.
Yeah.
I think it's faster pace. It's faster pace. It's very faster pace. I think it suits them. I prefer it. I would love to see more.
Let's see how this unfolds. There are some fighters. I think Amanda Serrano is saying that she won't fight at all now unless she is fighting 3-minute rounds. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, but that's negotiations. That's just down to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things develop there.
As long as the ring ain't 18.
Like it was. Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's 18 by not. Yeah, you're right.
Right. That's us looking back on the week that has just happened. Now let's look ahead to what we have coming up February 3rd. Buatsi, Azeez.
Big fight, long overdue.
It almost feels like a rematch because the first one fell through.
Yeah, and we were so close. The week before.
It was 1 week before. It was actually
it was fight week. Yeah.
The injury happened the week before.
Yeah. Was it a real injury? I need to ask these questions because
I mean, I've asked.
Yeah, because
yes, it was a real. And do you know what? I get that we have to
address it, man.
My job is to stir the pot and in many ways to ask questions that people are asking.
The fans, for them, what they want to ask.
Everyone's asking, was it real? Was it not? I know Dan well enough, and so does Josh. He knows Dan well enough to know Dan wouldn't do that. He's honest. Unless I've got this completely wrong. Dan is
bamboozled everyone
as straight up as they come, and he's such a hard worker. If he could have got in the ring, he would have.
Yeah. I don't think he was lying because of one reason, Dan. Right. You can't turn up to a press conference with a red hat on, saying war. and then back out.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't.
He's as honest as they come.
Yeah, he's a warrior.
That's it.
They're both warriors.
Yeah, they are.
It was an injury. It was a genuine.
Now
injury. We got it now. We got it. We've got
it. Feb 3rd. Hopefully the back holds out. I went to see Dan a couple of weeks ago and he sparred and he breezed through sparring partners. Let's put it that way.
Oh, you was there? Was he one of them?
No. You wanted to.
All right. I know Dan wants to get in.
I'll tell you what happened.
Did he look at you like,
after around 10?
You want to get some of this work?
So I'm looking at it. It's a ferocious pace, obviously. I know I don't have this in my locker.
Yeah.
But in my boot is my head guard, my groin guard, everything that you would have anyway. Yeah. My gummy is probably still in the car. So in my head, I'm like, I said it to someone I was with, and I said, he's done 10 rounds here or whatever it was. I was like,
I might get the 11th.
If I get in here, I'd probably have a bit of success now. He's done 30 minutes of fighting. Yeah. Surely, Dan, if you've got anything in you, and I'm talking me, Dan.
Yeah.
Savage. Surely, if you've got anything left, you'd get in there now and you'd take advantage of a tiring man. Then he went crazy for the last 2 rounds, yeah? And I said to him, I don't think I could have got in there.
Yeah.
His finishing pace was the same as what I would have started at.
Oh, good.
So there would have been none of this me going in there and trying to pull it on him. That would have gone terribly wrong. Like, that would have been horrible.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been enjoyable to watch, though.
Yeah. Look, let's look at the keys to victory. Joshua Buatsi, the Olympian. Everyone knows how good he is. Yeah. He's got ridiculous amateur pedigree. There's never been a doubt over his talent and how far he could go.
Yeah, never.
More question marks recently over how far he will go and how ambitious he is at what points of his career, etc., etc. A lot was made of him not taking the fight with Bivol at that time because it didn't suit him. Let's look at the keys to victory. First off, for Dan Azeez. What does Dan have to do well to get the win over Joshua Buatsi? I think most people will have Joshua as the favourite going into this fight.
But yeah, just a tad.
But I would imagine Dan has been the underdog
I don't want to
for
say.
quite a lot of his fights.
Yeah.
Until recently.
And I like Dan Azeez, man.
I think Dan's sick. I like Dan.
He's a sick fighter. He's a lovely guy.
What does he have to do to win?
I don't want to sound cheeky, man.
Cheeky? How can you sound... I said, what does he have to do to win?
I don't know if he...
You're going to need to change that tone. No, but I'm saying...
No, he can. He could definitely win.
Of course he can win.
One thing I would say, he's going to have to walk him down, but Buatsi, he's ready to do that.
All right. Yeah.
But Buatsi will walk with you.
How do you win? Come on, be a tactician. How do you win this fight? I'll give you what I would do if I'm Dan.
If he was Dan Azeez?
Yeah.
I'll go to the body.
I think you got to do that anyway.
But I think that's where he gets the most joy, though.
I think Dan has an underrated jab. But I'm not even sure if it's underrated anymore. I think people understand how good it is. It is a very good jab, and it hurts. It's not it's like
mini
it comes
biffle.
it's for me. It's better. It's more disguised, and it lands. I don't know how he always lands it, but he finds a way to land it.
Dan Azeez, sorry to cut you off, Dan. Yeah, but Dan Azeez, for some reason, I don't know. He just reminds me of Sean Porter. His fight style. It doesn't.
Yeah, Sean's a bit more up on his.
Yeah. Just saying, but that more rugged. But they obviously you don't want to give them any
clean shots.
any clean shots because they will get you out of there.
They will rough.
He has to outdog him.
Of course.
That's why I think he gets his joy.
But I need more than this. You're meant to be a boxing specialist.
But I don't. It's so 50-50. It's so close.
No,
but
not.
I personally just.
We're gonna get to Joshua, and when we get to Joshua,
and that's when I can give.
No, you're gonna. That's too easy.
I don't think he could go. I don't think he's gonna try outbox. I don't think he's gonna try outbox. But it's impossible. Not impossible.
This is what I'm saying. Look what you're doing. You're gonna get fired.
I think Dennis is gonna see me and say, "Well, do you want to fight me?"
Exactly.
But I like him. I really like him.
It doesn't matter. My job. I don't care who you like. I don't care who you went to school with. I'm asking you, how does somebody win this fight? Everyone knows when it comes to numbers and it comes to strength and conditioning, and
that's why I think Dan. That's why I think Dan wins, though.
Exactly.
Strength and conditioning.
Yeah, I'm saying his physical ability to just bite down on his gum shield and go harder than you.
Yeah, I think he's got
I think that is something that can win you a fight, and it's won in plenty of fights.
Of course.
Doesn't mean that Joshua can't keep up with him, because Joshua's going to come in. He's not on his sofa just eating ice cream right now. He's going to come and fit as a fiddle as well. But I think for Dan, it's important that he makes this fight taxing for Josh. And he has to make it so that Josh is working harder than he wants to work. Josh might want to have a look and box him
for the first 3 rounds.
Just in general, like if you're Josh, we'll get onto Josh in a minute, because I feel like that's a case that you almost want to make,
It's
and how he wins. It's the case he can make. But I think if you're Dan, you want to set a high tempo, like really high. But then you don't want to get greedy, because then you can walk onto shots as well. It's like knowing when to go. Sean Porter is close.
It's close.
So he does dog you.
Yes.
But he doesn't walk onto shots unless you are Terence Crawford.
Which I think.
And in terms of technicality, I'm not saying Joshua Buatsi is Terence Crawford, but it's a similar-ish kind of fight.
100%.
And you got to be careful with how. And let's not forget, going into that round where Terence Crawford stopped Sean Porter,
he was down.
He was down on the cards.
Yeah, and someone had to tell him.
Exactly.
His coach told him, "You're down." He said, "I'm down.
That's
okay,
it.
Cool."
So this fight isn't. I don't think this fight is going to be plain sailing or one-way traffic. Either way, I think both fighters will have their moments. It's just about what they're able to do with those moments. If you're Dan, you've got to keep a high pressure. Yeah. You've got to make it uncomfortable. You almost want to get in that space where Josh can't use his long levers.
I think Josh, this fight, majority is going to be boxing on the back foot. I think that's where he gets most of his joy. I don't think he wants to sit in there with Dan Azeez and go shot for shot and blow for blow. I don't think so. But I think that's where he gets his most joy. If he's going to box on the back foot, and obviously,
is that the easiest way to do it?
I think that is the easiest way. But I'm not saying that's the way he's going to win. I'm not saying that's the way he's going to win. But I think the beginning rounds, that's what I think he should do. Don't
have a look.
Have a look. You don't need to go in there and mix up with him and try to get him out of their first 3-4 rounds because Dan Azeez is coming for you.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of fighter he is. I'm not saying he can't box as well on the back foot. He clearly can, but that's not his strengths though.
I'm glad you said that. Because now we're getting somewhere.
That's not his strengths.
Yeah, no, exactly. Dan's strength is walking you down, making it a war of attrition, and showing that he's just physically superior to you.
Yeah, I'm stronger than you.
Obviously, there's skill involved, etc., etc.
100%.
But he's looking to land the bigger, meaner shots and take more out of you than he does himself because he knows that he has the ability to bite down on his gum shield. Joshua might have been guilty of coasting in his last couple of fights. Maybe not last couple, because he certainly wasn't coasting against Craig Richards. That was a very tough fight.
Ooh.
And he showed in that fight that he could bite down.
Craig Richards.
And Richards did the same thing.
Yeah, that was they was going for it. Yeah.
So,
great
Joshua Buatsi, do you think he takes the back foot?
I think, yeah. First opening rounds, he takes the back foot, he sees him out, just feeling the atmosphere, feeling what Dan Azeez is going to bring towards him. Me personally, if I was him, I wouldn't go in the middle of the ring. Give the ring, what's it called? What do you say it? Ring
Generalship. Give the center of the ring away.
Not give it away.
Not give it away, but as in let him walk onto you.
Yeah, let him walk onto you because he might walk onto a shot. You might slip him.
If I'm Dan, this is where me and you might be different fighters. No, sorry, not if I'm Dan, because I am Dan. If I'm Joshua Buatsi, I take the front foot.
No.
I'm not saying I want to go shell up, go in the pocket and go to war with you and just start throwing shots. But I'm saying I would probably want to see how well Dan can cope on the back foot, seeing as he's so used to putting pressure on other people.
Foot, yeah, I don't know if he's got it in him to put him on the back foot. I don't know because Dan Azeez is that type of fighter saying, I'm not gonna let you even.
They're both gonna punch you out when they see you. You're such a troll. Like when
it's not, bro. It's not.
You're saying I don't think Dan's got enough to beat Josh, but I don't think Josh has enough to put Dan on the back foot.
I don't think he does because Dan Azeez is not. I don't want to say ignorant, but he's so
hard-headed.
Yeah, he's just.
But having said that, this is not them meeting each other in the ring for the first time. They've done loads of rounds.
Yeah, of course.
So
and they've said 50-50. He's had the best of me. I've had the best of him.
They'll know. They will actually know more about each other than we know about them.
All this is just...
So I guess it is just having a look at who wins and how. If you had to make a prediction... In fact, no. We'll wait for next week before we do predictions. Based on... I make a lot of my decisions as we get closer to the fight.
This is going to be a good fight, man.
I think it's going to be a great fight.
Dan Azeez, if I see you, man, you don't want smoke. So you don't fight me.
Dan, we talked about it last time. I'll beat him up for you.
No, you won't.
Options for the winner and the loser. It's a competitive division. There are loads of fights out there. The winner doesn't fall by the wayside here. No. There are loads of opportunities. But where does the winner go?
I think, well, like you said, Bivol and Berbatov, they're going for the undisputed.
Beterbiev. You can't
Bev,
get it.
Man.
Yeah, Bev.
Beterbiev. Beterbiev. Is that it? Beterbiev.
They're going to rip you apart.
I can't.
The fans are going to kill you.
They kill me.
This guy don't know boxing. He can't even say the name.
Of course I know boxing. I just don't know his name. What's his name, Dan?
Beterbiev. Beterbiev or Beterbiev.
Beterbiev. Or
that one.
Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Listen, them belts are those guys are fighting for those belts. Yeah. So going for that, fighting one of those after is just, it's not gonna happen.
Why?
I think after that fight, I think all the belts just get distributed. I think it's gone. I don't think.
I suppose. Yeah. Somebody could Beterbiev could easily retire if he beats.
That's if they retire. But and either way, I think they might.
Is a world title next then for the winner? Is that, or like within a year of winning this fight, the winner?
I would wait a year. I personally would wait a year.
No, you wouldn't want to wait a year, but I'm saying if you're...
No, I would want, if I was one of those guys, I'd wait a year.
Why?
I don't want... You shouldn't want to fight one of those Bivol and Beterbiev.
One thing you have to understand is these are fighters. They are not podcasters.
I don't think there is a number one light heavy British fighter in this country right now. I don't think one of them stamped it.
All right, so it's going to be Callum Smith, Anthony Yard, Buatsi, Azeez,
Arthur.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be. I think he would.
Put him in there. Put him in the mix, Dan. Put some respect in his name.
I'm saying you're looking for the best one. You so it's going to be out of those 5.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
And it might not be. It's hard to tell because Beterbiev has beaten 2 of them.
Yes.
And the rest haven't really fought at the top level to know where they are.
Oh, yes.
Interesting. So yeah, I suppose we could even do not a Super 6.
Nah. I don't want to see Super 6.
But you want to see the best in Britain fight.
Yeah, I want to see the best in Britain fight first, and then before one of them fight Biv or Beterbiev.
Yeah, you almost had it.
Beterbiev. Yeah, so I think I just want to see who's the dominant man in light heavy in British boxing. That's what I want to see first, because we don't know, Dan. We don't know. It's all up and down. They're all great fighters. They're all class fighters. So that's what I think what happens next. Personally, that's what I would love
to see. If you had to pick one right now, based on the information we don't have, who is the best light heavyweight in Britain?
Oh, you can't do this to me, man. Because
it's not fact. I'm just asking you who you would rank as number 1.
I don't want to say it because he's fighting.
Who? You're going to say Buatsi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say Buatsi as well. There's no proof. We haven't got all the proof yet. But I'm just saying, if you had to pick who you think is the dominant one out of the entire batch of light heavyweights in Britain.
Yeah, but Anthony Yard is
exactly.
a monster as well, though.
The problem is we've seen Yard step up and lose twice, albeit at the very top level.
Yes, but
what I'm saying is, I'm not asking.
That's no fault of his own. He went out and fought the best.
Why are you trying to argue? I just asked you. Is that really the right answer? What are you doing?
Anthony Yard's cold as well, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a fight I would love to see.
We want to see them all fight each other. Hopefully,
that's the next fight.
These are fights that.
That's the next fight. I've made it here.
Yeah, but
Anthony Yard fights the winner.
I think you might be right there. Could be right.
That's it. Anthony Yard. All you got to do, shout me. You don't even have to shout me. I've made it happen already. Sit ringside after the winner. Get inside the ring, take the mic. I'm fighting you next.
Makes sense to me.
It's a good fight.
No, I don't.
Because he's fought well. He's fought.
Do you think we're not already ahead? Do you think we're not ahead of you?
No, but I'm just making it clear. I'm speaking for the fans.
I think it's a good fight.
It's a great fight. Because also it pushes the winner out of Dan and Josh. It pushes them to another level because he's fought at World Elite level.
Exactly.
So, Anthony Yard, you're next up, man. And once he might get his lick back on.
Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Could be. You almost had him.
Yeah.
He did almost have him.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
And Kovalev. Almost had Kovalev. This is the thing. That's what I mean. Let's see who's got what. Anything else you want to get off your chest? We ain't even got time. This has been a longish episode. Just
Teofimo Lopez is running up his mouth against Crawford, basically, saying he wants to fight him. I don't think he gets any joy there. Other than that, nothing. Yeah, boxing's been a bit quiet. It's the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We've got time. And hopefully by the next
recording.
6 months, I get
Beterbiev, yeah.
I get his name.
You can't say it. Just hope you don't bump into him. Anyway, that is it. We will be here next week. Let us know, who do you think wins, Buatsi or Azeez? What is next for both fighters? Do you want to see Natasha Jonas fight Mikaela Mayer again, or should she go elsewhere? You let us know. We'll be back next week. Say bye, Miles.
See you later, people, man.